Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Lyons, founder of Storygeeks.com. And I wanted to give you a little quick introduction to this video. It's only about 8 minutes or so long, explaining this methodology called the corkboard method, which has been around for a very long time, but not a lot of novelists that I know of use it. Screenwriters do, but not so much novelists or memoirists. It's a very powerful tool for when you're ready to actually start writing manuscript pages. But again, with a lot of these videos that I'm putting up, they're excerpts of classes that I teach where I take people through a much more detailed process, implementing the things I'm teaching. And that's true for this video. This is part of my Build Your Book class. Sometimes I discuss this in my mushy middle class at the very end. But I want to give you some context because in this video, I'm referring to things like worksheets and specific deliverables and so on. So the idea behind this is that before you can really do this methodology, I strongly suggest you have certain story development steps completed. Now, in my world, that means going through very specific worksheets and using very specific development tools to get you there. Okay. You may not want to ever do that stuff. That's okay. But I want you to understand in the video what we're talking about. So I talk about using synopses, integrating subplots in those worksheets, using a classic story structure map that I teach all about, using how to actually structure the middle of any story using the classic story structure beats, and how to integrate all these various forms of synopsis, short and long, into this method. And then using other work that was done after all that work was done to build out your chapters so that you will have this thing I call the roadmap or the guidebook, where it's all your book chapters printed out, 30 or 40 or 50 of them, which is typically what you have in a book. All your chapters laid out, color coded, blah, 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 all of that already done. And in the Build Your Book class and in the Mushy Middle class, I talk about how to do all of that. So I want you to understand the context of some of these terms and so on. You don't have to do any of those things, okay? You don't have to. I just want to describe the utility of this particular methodology because it's a very, very, very useful and very visual and is a very powerful way for you to set yourself up to launch yourself into physically writing your manuscript pages. Okay, so that's what this is all about, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's take a look. What's next? The obvious answer is, well, now you write the bloody thing. You've done all the hard work. You've got your assessment. You're in solid position. You got your chapters. You got your scenes. You got your booklet, your little guidebook, your roadmap. Start writing. You can do that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. If you are in that position and you decide to just jump in and start writing your book now, you're in better shape than 99% of writers who are out there writing. So, mazel tov, congratulations. Great. However, there is a little something you might consider doing before you start pages. And it is something I do as a screenwriter, and lots of screenwriters use this methodology because it really is the icing on the cake. It's the classic corkboard and index card method. You've probably heard of it. Novelists use it, but it's not all that popular necessarily. It's very big with screenwriters. But it works for anybody writing anything, fictional or memoir, or anything like that. What you do is you get a corkboard, those big corkboards, or you can just put it up on the wall. It doesn't matter where you put it. But you get those little 3x5 index cards, and for every chapter you have in your book, you put that summary paragraph or a few sentences of that chapter, which came off the worksheets, and you stick out all that on one card, and you color code your cards. So if you've got your A-line story, that's black. If you've got your B-line story, that's orange or whatever color you want to use. And then you either go up and down, or you go across and across, whatever process you want to use. And you go, here's the progression of my chapters, one through what, all the way to the end of the story. And you put them all up on that wall or that corkboard. And then when you're done, and you got all your chapters translated over onto these physical cards, there's a reason why they're physical. And there are programs out there like Scrivener and things like that that have a built-in corkboard, and you can do this. But it's just I don't like the electronic versions of these things. There's something magical that happens when you can physically touch these things. And then you start moving them. You see where you've got too much of the A line. There's no break for 10 chapters. It's all just A line. That's too much. You want to start moving your B line earlier because you see it's all black and now it's all purple, then it's all black and then it's all green. You got all these things bunched together in these one sections, and you need to break them up because that's where the pacing comes from. And so you can use this process of visually putting your cards on the wall or on whatever you're going to put, whatever surface you're going to do it. Lance Black, the famous Oscar-winning screenwriter, has this massive marble table in his kitchen that when he writes a script and he gets it, he puts all the scenes on index cards, sticks them on the top of that big marble thing, and then moves stuff around until he gets the pacing the way he wants it. It might take him a month playing with this thing. You'll pull cards out. You'll put cards in. You'll add new chapters. You'll translate those to cards. It's a living thing. It's a living document. The chapter work that you've done, all those worksheets will inform this process and vice versa. If you add new stuff here, create more worksheets over here so that the guidebook you have reflects what you've got on the index cards. Use the tools. But the corkboard method is a great visual way to see how your story's pacing out because you've got everything color-coded. You see where you're bunched too much here. You got too much space here between these lines. Nah, B line needs to come in here instead of way down here. Oh, my subplot's ending on, at the doom moment, and it should be ending much closer to the battle. Why did I do that? Can I move it and will it work? Maybe you'll have to create some other additional scenes or additional chapters to make that time shift of the difference between where you had it and where it's got to go. You might have to do some rearranging and adding some new stuff in to make it work dramatically. That's okay. You wouldn't have known that if you hadn't used this visual method. You probably would have figured it out way down the line, but you'd probably be in rewrites by that point, which is kind of late in the process. So this methodology, the corkboard index card process, is just a tangible, hands-on, very cool thing that you can do to master the pacing of your chapters and of your book. And when that starts talking to you and it's singing and it reflects what the guidebook's got, you're ready to go. Start writing your damn book. Enough of this damn processes. Now you're ready to start with real solid confidence. You can start attacking pages. Will it all change? Of course it'll change. It's not cast in stone. It's a guidebook. It's a roadmap. You can take side trails. You can find new ways of getting around problems. New stuff's going to happen. This whole process that I teach as the writer workflow, which this is now becoming a part of, building your book, is all about opening up the creative process, not closing it down, not constraining you, but giving you the kinds of tools you need to allow the creative process to really bloom. And this last icing on the cake, it really is a very powerful way to get yourself into a position to be ready for pages. Yeah, let's go. And you're setting yourself up for success. Not that you're not going to have problems, not that you're not going to maybe discover some holes that you didn't see before. That always happens. It's part of the process. Welcome to creative writing. But you have done your homework. You've done the heavy lifting. You have built your book and you're ready to start writing it. Okay, so now you can go into the bonus section at some point and start looking at all the examples that are there from Great Gatsby and Mice and Men, using all these worksheets to really in earnest put yourself in a position where you're ready to start writing. So congratulations for taking the class. Congratulations for doing all this hard work, for telling yourself the truth on the self-assessment, and I wish you luck.